i2 Software has released Forceback 9.3 for 3ds Max, which brought with it some interesting improvements, especially to environment artists, Archviz, and VFX professionals. So Forceback, the popular scattering and scene layout plugin, now packs even more punch with this update. The new version focuses on making vegetation creation more natural and efficient, which is kind of the goal in the first place. So it introduced features like animated ivy, enhanced scattering control, and various workflow and performance tweaks. It is casual but noteworthy upgrade that builds on Forceback's robust toolkit. So Forceback in this release introduced wind animation for ivy and climbing plants, letting you create vines that sway naturally in the wind. The standout feature in 9.3 is a major update to forest ivy, the tool for generating climbing plants. Previously, an ivy created with Forceback was kinda static, and now you can make it sway with procedural wind, so you can set an overall wind strength, or fine-tune separate motion for branches and leaves to just get the right level of flutter. There is even a viewport preview toggle, so you can watch your ivy reacting to wind in real time without needing a test render. This means adding a gentle breeze to a wall of ivy or hanging vines is basically now plug and play. No complex rigging is required. The ivy system itself sees other improvements too. Branches can taper toward their tips for a more natural look, and the new branch rotation parameter helps break up repetitive patterns so climbing plants look more organic. In addition, this release allows using grayscale maps to vary scatter density, enabling more nuanced distribution of scattered elements across a surface. This feature, by the way, was actually required by the community. Beyond ivy, ForceScatter, the core Forceback's object scattering, gets now smart new abilities. So you can now use grayscale texture maps to control scatter density, not just as binary masks. In previous versions, you could only mask areas on and off, but now a gradient map can smoothly vary how densely objects like plants are distributed, allowing for subtle transitions, so white areas get full density, gray less, and black none. This gives environment designers finer control to mimic natural growth patterns, or simply to do whatever you want. For example, having vegetation gradually thin out towards the edge, towards the edge of forest clearing. Another welcome tweak is the ability to randomize the scale of scattered objects per area, so each scatter area can have its own size range, so you might make trees along a path smaller than those in the forest interior, all within one Forceback object. Painting scatter areas is also more convenient now. You can hold one key to paint and another to erase, instead of manually switching modes. This is great when defining where the grass or the rock should appear, making the process feel much more intuitive and fluid. When it comes to performance, it has been tuned up as well, so this release includes stability fixes and efficiency improvements that will especially benefit heavy scenes. For example, collision checks on massive distributions are more stable, and using interactive renderings with engines like Corona no longer triggers unnecessary scene rebuilds. This means you can tweak your scatter setups with real-time feedback and not worry about the plugin bogging down. The developers also fixed some quirks, such as include and exclude area falloffs, which interfere with each other, and ensured that preset library items load properly, even if some geometry is missing. The net result is a smoother experience. Large environment scenes should feel a bit snappier and more reliable in 9.3, letting artists focus on creativity and not be bogged down with all the problems. But this release isn't just about the headline features, it also brings some workflow improvements. For instance, when creating climbing plants, you no longer have to restart an ivy from scratch if you want to change its path. You can simply continue painting onto an existing ivy baseline to extend it further. This is a huge plus, especially when adjusting layout based on client feedback or artistic iteration, since you can grow vines interactively without redoing the whole thing. In a similar way, the new paint and erase keyboard shortcut for scatter areas means you can sculpt your distributions on the fly, which feels much more natural than toggling buttons for each stroke. And there you have it, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to the channel to receive more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.